try to. Is that competitive or just?
That's where it's tournament is. So you're right, this is gonna play their
Well, especially if he gets to think about that.
It might be 80.
Not too bad. You know, top, Cooper on top, he's only saying, hey, if they can find it. Yeah, I don't think
She's gonna tell me that.
This was
Who's doing the pledge, sir? Mr. Mayor, who's doing the pledge, please?
Councilmember Newman, he's been practicing.
Ah, you got a number of those kids to teach.
He's got it pulled up on Google.
Yeah.
I meant to say Don Johnson.
Yeah.
I wish I'd just break into the start.
Sing if you know it.
One who's got the youngest kids, right?
Oh my gosh. Maybe the most. I don't know, my most and the youngest now.
Are you getting any sleep?
Couldn't look over like that.
No.
It would be stand way smiling.
I told him he's got a golf team now, the more you get a basketball team.
It'd be fun.
It'd be fun as the grandparents.
Yeah.
Give it back. Here.
Yeah, I love seeing the headlights, them taillights are good too.
Hey, they can't come over if they don't leave.
Waking up on their
Can't
own.
come back if they don't leave.
All right, it's 6:30. If I can have your attention, we will call to order the Loudon City Council meeting for April 27th, 2026. Before we get into our agenda, just a couple of things I want to bring up. Many of you know Chip Lynn, who runs WLNT radio station. He's a good friend of City Council and broadcasts a lot of stuff for us. His mother passed away this afternoon, so I just remember that family. And also, one of our retired employees, Bobby Langford, a police officer, he's been battling some serious illnesses. He's at ICU at Fort Loudon Medical Center. So when we have our prayer today, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers this morning or this afternoon, okay? We're pleased to introduce Keith Johnson. He's here with his wife. Keith is the new pastor at First Baptist, interim pastor at First Baptist Church Loudon. We're very thankful for what First Baptist Thunder City is doing to restore this beautiful historic landmark and the congregation there. So Keith, it's a pleasure to have you here. He's going to lead our invocation, and Councilmember Newman is going to lead us in our pledge. So if everyone could stand, we'll begin our meeting. Pastor Keith, go ahead.
Pray with me. Lord Jesus, just want to bow before you this evening, and first of all, thank you for each member of this council that leads and governs this community, and you're very clear in your word that we're to pray for those in authority over us. So we want to do that tonight. We want to ask, first of all, that you would bless them for the time that they give to serve this community. We pray that you would give them wisdom, that you would give them discernment. Pray for this community. I pray that this township, the schools, the businesses would truly be a beacon on a hill. Lord, even in the short time Nancy and I have been a part of this community, we've sensed a togetherness, a group of people that seem like family in every ball game that we go to, all the different activities. Father, we're grateful for people that love and care about each other. So I pray for this council tonight, that they will be led in everything that they do, every decision they make, and Father, that everything will go smoothly, and that you'll be honored and glorified in all that takes place here tonight. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Councilmember.
Petition, Salut pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Keith, if you'd meet me right up here in front. Have something. Just a token with the city logo. It's on the back. It says, "Thank you for your service." So thank you for your service to our community and to the Lord.
I appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
all
Thank
right.
you. Nice to meet all of you.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Harris,
Here.
Vice Mayor Dixon,
Here.
Councilmember Cardwell,
Here.
Councilmember Newman,
Here.
Councilmember Rice.
Here.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the Loudon City Council meeting. My name is Mayor Jeff Harris, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. Tennessee law gives every Tennessean the right to attend city council meetings and to observe how their government does business. We appreciate each of you taking time to attend our meeting tonight and see how your government works. It's my intention as your chair that we create a space where everyone feels seen, heard, respected, and valued. You should have a copy of tonight's agenda. If you don't have one, you can pick one up on the table at the back of the room. This agenda is your guide to the topics we'll be discussing tonight. In order to conduct efficient business-like meetings, the council has adopted some specific rules to follow. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving, assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide for common courtesy. In a few minutes, we'll come to a place on the agenda entitled Citizens Input, where anyone that is signed in is encouraged to speak. We do ask that you wait until you've been recognized before you speak. And after you've been recognized, approach the podium, address the council, and follow 3 simple rules. At the beginning of every presentation, state your name for the records, address all your questions to the chair, and avoid the use of improper language, profanity, or any other inappropriate conduct. Once the citizens' input portion of the meeting is over, the council will proceed with the remainder of the agenda. You're welcome to stay and observe the meeting, but be advised that any additional public comments will be limited to 3 minutes and at the discretion of council. We ask everyone to remember we're doing the people's business here tonight. It's a very important responsibility for all of us. You can help us do this business by observing the rules we've established for our meetings. Again, welcome to our Loudon City Council meeting. We're glad you're here tonight. Recognition of visitors. We have one employee recognition to give. Andy Disney. This plaque says it's presented to Andy Disney, Fire Department, in appreciation of 20 years of service to the city of Loudon, 2026. Thank you, Andy. Can I take our picture here?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Andy. Next item is adoption of the agenda. Everyone has to have a copy of it. It was mailed out to us on Friday. Have a motion to adopt the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we delete item I-2 from the agenda.
You need a second on that?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second to remove item 2?
Second.
Okay, and just remove it completely?
I mean, we're in discussion now if you want to talk about it.
Okay, is
The
there,
reason why is we talked about at the workshop that we wanted to complete the corridor study before we voted on this. So I think that was based on the city manager recommended that. I think planning commission recommended that. And I think we need to do the study, make sure that we have all our facts before we vote either yes or no on this.
Yeah.
So it's not a decline in it, it's just saying we need to do a study and make sure we do it right this time.
I think the study can be done independently of this, and it should not be, my personal opinion, it shouldn't be tied to this application. It should be approved or denied on its own merit and not based on a traffic impact study or a corridor study. That's my thought. Any other discussion? So in other words, I can't support removing it. So I think staff has provided a lot of information on it for us to make a decision. Any other discussion? Okay, all right, let's do roll call vote then.
Councilmember Cardwell?
That's an
Councilmember,
aye to remove.
yes. Councilmember Newman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dixon?
No.
Councilmember Ridings?
No.
Mayor Harris?
No.
Thank you.
So now do we have a motion to adopt the agenda as printed?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion second, any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
4-1.
Thank you.
All right, citizens input, look like we have one, Chris Kirby. Approach the podium and tell us what's on your mind, Chris.
Hello, Mayor, Commission. My name's Chris Kirby. I was asked to come here by a few folks in the community and just discuss the Jackson Law a little bit, I think. This is the Jackson Law.
Mhm.
Have y'all read the Jackson Law?
Mhm.
Do we understand the Jackson Law? And how it applies to us and what it does for you as a city?
Think so?
You think so? What does it do, honestly? What does it do for you guys? Help me out.
Well, I mean, you understand it, you know.
I don't, sir.
We'll let
I'm here to help you understand what it does for me.
We'll let our attorney, if he wants to.
Help me out.
Answer that.
Yeah, I'm not here for a test. You
I know, no, I'm
you
not,
got some
I'm
time to
asking, I'm asking a
speak.
question.
You tell us, I'm not here to.
Okay, all right, fine. So it was a serious question, is what does it do for you guys? As a municipality and a partial owner in the Waste Commission.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're asking for protections of this law and its amendments and its parameters and all of those things. You're asking for the protection of what's in this, all right? And how it applies to your city and the landfill, right? Correct? Because of your proximity within the mile, the 5 miles, whatever it is, because of your ownership and those things. I don't understand it all, but I do know that different pieces of this amendment trigger different portions of this law and how it affects a public owner, me owning a landfill in your city and or your county, and how it affects a municipality owning part of the landfill in the county, which it is a part owner and or it's one of its assets, okay? Different times, different parts of this law help you and it hurts you. It's just like a contract. It works both ways. It works for the people and it works for you, all right? Here's what it does for me. Now, I'm one of your neighbors. I own property near and adjacent to your city. I've provided you guys with some maps. Each one of you have a little map in front of you, okay? This is the property around, this is all the properties that are around the landfill. This is the landfill, 151 acres. Here's the 98.6 acres that you guys that this is partially has to do with. This 96 acres is going to be consolidated to make this 151 a 249 acre landfill, okay? Loudon County adopted the CFD. So, in fact, it will be consolidated into one property soon, and it becomes one big, huge landfill. Now, what that does for me, currently, your county appraiser assessed this property in 11. It was purchased in 09 and 10, these 3 properties. had an assessment in 11, it had an assessment in 21. We all know that there's an assessment happening or has happened. I haven't done the calculation since. But from 11, when it was purchased, to 21, the county devalued those three properties $330,000. Okay? So it took a discount on those three properties. What does that tell me as a business owner and a half-educated person? That tells me somebody's gonna sell this place. You're consolidating it, you're dropping the value of it, you're gonna try to dump it. Okay, that's what a layman like me sees. My 3 minutes is up, but okay. That's what it does for me. So, okay, not only does it lose my taxpayer money, but that 30% loss in property values, that now travels all the way around the landfill. Everybody now gets that 31% devaluation of their property. Now, my property values just went up. I live on the river. Okay, everybody's property went up. But because they consolidate, that takes a loss, a 30% loss, proved by the Tennessee Viewers website, blah, 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 at the state. I didn't make these numbers up. The numbers are there. Go find them. 31% is the value that every property around is going to take when that consolidates. That's what it does for me. It takes 31% off of my property value. Now, the reason I got involved with that, sir, is because when I came here months ago complaining about the flooding of my property and whatnot, I had evaluations done on what that damages it did to my property. That's how I got involved with this. I know numbers well. It's what I do for a living. Now, again, I'm not here to tell you what to do and how to do it or whatever. You currently have a contract to operate the landfill as it stands till 36. And you owe them an obligation of a letter in 36 to what you're going to do with the landfill in the next 2 years to 38. You don't have to do any of this. What you're doing with the Jackson Law, the only thing it's going to do is benefit the next owner or private owner. It's going to protect them. So the market drop, plus you protecting them with your Jackson Law, it's just going to protect the private owner. It steers toward the sale of the landfill. Say you're not going to sell it, that's fine. Y'all can say anything you want. The markers indicate otherwise. So that's what the Jackson Law does for me.
Okay.
Make it larger, I lose money, and everyone else around it loses money.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure if I understand your point. How does the Jackson Law hurt the city or landowners, and how does it facilitate the next owner, like you're saying?
It protects.
How does it protect them?
It protects a private owner.
How?
That's what the Jackson Law was intended for. When it was first adopted, that landfill was a privately owned landfill. Okay? And then the Jackson Law wasn't even adopted then when that landfill was in. It wasn't, I don't even think it was, the Jackson Law wasn't even in effect in 87, 89.
So
It was 95, I
so
believe.
my reading of the Jackson Law
Okay?
is that it gives the city, it says no construction shall be initiated on any new landfill or solid waste or for solid waste processing unless both legislative bodies approve it.
Correct.
And we can do it if it's within 1 mile. It also says that if any landfill classification is upgraded, then that approval must come back to us.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that
Now go to
protect?
so go to the second sentence in the whole Jackson Law.
Okay? Can
And
you
it
break
says-
me a number and,
It specifically says that you're gonna take garbage within your county and restrict the intake from within your county.
that's not the second sentence, so can you reference where?
Let's see, the new construction will be.
The second sentence is about the,
Which such waste is generated in the same county as the landfill. Landfill without the approval. of the
can
county
you give me
legislature.
a number, a paragraph number, please?
Jackson, what's the second?
I'm just reading Tennessee Code Annotated.
Right after the sentence you just read, no new construction will be initiated for a landfill without the approval of the county legislative body unless the landfill only accepts waste generated by its owner, and all such waste is generated by the same county as the landfill. Now, Republic told us all they take well outside the 75-mile radius. Shoot. It's 20 miles right over there to Rome County, ain't it? Hauling, 75-mile radius. So when, if you break one part of the law, when you pick and choose what parts of it's gonna protect you and what part doesn't? I guess that's my concern. I'm not telling you that I'm the expert on this thing, but I'm telling you it works both directions. It can work for you and against you.
I don't see where you're referencing in the law is all. Cause I've got the law pulled up here and I don't see where you're talking about. But also if it, posting here, copy.
This was provided by the county Waste Commission. That's their paperwork.
It says no new content.
That was provided by Adam Waller.
So by us adopting the Jackson law, I guess I'm trying to follow your argument all the way around. So us adopting the Jackson law, does it negatively impact you and your property?
I don't know what it
Keep in
does.
mind, the county's already adopted it. They adopted
They've
it
already
years
adopted
ago.
it.
Years
So-
ago.
Yeah, right.
So I guess too, I'm just kind of curious what the ask may be.
Sure, what does it do for them? That's the only reason I even got involved with this. What does it help them? What does it do for them? That they're not already doing under an Ag A1. They're already cutting up trash.
We can't speak for the county.
I know.
The intent, and I'm the one that brought it
And
up.
we can't speak for Solid Waste Commission.
The
That's another
intent
body.
is to give this
Wrong.
board another lever to have a say-so on something that's right outside our corporate boundary.
That being said, in the Waste Commission rules of engagement, it says you should have 7 members of the community, They currently operate on 5, maybe 4 show up at the meetings and whatnot. So who's your representation? As a
Gary
city?
Hendricks.
Excuse me?
Gary Hendricks.
Okay, so there's your representation.
But again, but that doesn't go back to the Jackson law. The Jackson law, our intent
And
is
I would,
that it gives us an extra arrow in our quiver that if there's something going on in that landfill when it comes to expansion or classification, we get a veto
Has to
on it.
come to
I
us.
hope so.
That's
I
our
hope so. I
intent.
promise you, I hope so. And
Okay.
that's what, I've told all the people on my whomever, I would much rather see a firehouse on top of the hill and whatnot, and another $1 million home as that landfill come across, okay? I'd die.
Now, all the other things, yep, that may be something for the future to fix, but this is just step one that we're doing is like, we have this tool and
I'm saying, don't run around like Loudon did and just
But right
make
now, we don't
crazy
have that option.
decisions. Study up on it.
Right now, we don't have that
okay?
option without.
Study up on it. But what's happening to me, the conglomeration of this, and everybody around there in Tennessee National, they're gonna take a 30% hit.
that's beyond us passing this
I
Jackson.
know.
Us passing this Jackson law has nothing to do with property value.
Fair enough,
That's out of our,
fair enough,
because it's not in our corporate
fair
limits.
enough, but you're part owner in the Waste Commission.
And we get one vote.
And
This
and you get part
allows
of
us to have a veto on
And you
certain
get part
things.
of the 5.5% that gets split up amongst,
Yes.
that's right.
Like I said, we have one vote on that commission.
I'm
And
not
so-
trying to hurt you, but I'm saying, please do your homework for the community. That's all I'm asking.
And I believe I have. I mean, I've got the interlocal agreement, your reference. I've read the law. I've talked to several attorneys on it. And our intent, and that's why I was glad to hear you. I want to make sure, but our intent is it just gives us another lever that we don't have to use, but it enables us to use it.
Again, if it were to ever go private again,
Mhm.
if it were to ever go private again, those same parameters will protect that private owner that now protects you and whoever else.
Not from 4 attorneys I've spoken to, that is not true. It is complete, because the people who fight the Jackson law are developers and people who own landfills, they hate the Jackson Law. So that, if they had protection, they wouldn't be fighting it in the legislature right now.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Anyway, thank you for your comments. So.
Next item is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of March 23rd, 2026.
I reviewed the minutes and consulted with Attorney Fry, they appear accurate.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Now, get into our resolutions. First one is adopting the downtown master plan.
Motion to
official
approve.
Guidance, okay?
Second.
Talked about this quite a bit, at the workshop. So we have a motion and a second, any discussion? Only point I just want to mention is, I have a little bit of concern with if the riverfront development is in the historic district. I think that might cause some issues with developers, but we can take that on as we get to this
plan
point.
doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, so, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approving application to amend the offsite improvements previously approved as a resolution 2024-31. Racetrack Inc., special use review, tax map 040, group NA, parcels 99, 100, 101, and 102. And just a little bit of history here. Racetrack applied to city council back in August of 2024, I think, and was approved, subject to some conditions. Some of those conditions was the racetrack to complete an approved traffic signal design before construction could begin. Racetrack proposed at that time, if you remember, is a split signal configuration that aligned some existing driveways and access movements. An adjacent property owner was affected by that, so TDOT could not permit that. So, Racetrack does have an approved site plan, even though it does not meet all the conditions. And TDOT will not issue a permit until all those requirements are satisfied with that approved site plan. So under the city zoning ordinance, any change to the conditions of the prior approval must come back to a full special review process. That did go before the Regional Planning Commission, and I think was at a vote of 5-2, did not pass, but City Council has the final authority. So it needs to be in accordance with section 14-314, special use review says the proposed use must meet all the following with documented findings supported by City of Loudon planning staff. They're listed A through E, I believe. So my recommendation, and I think staff's recommendation, that we council approve or deny this request, this amendment to the request. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny application number 203, based on the requirements outlined in the zoning ordinance section 14-314, special use review. Is there a motion to approve or deny?
I'll make a motion to deny.
Okay, we have a motion to deny. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion to deny the request. Any discussion?
I don't wanna word this to death, we talked a lot about it in the workshop, but I definitely feel that the new layout potentially impacts other businesses in the vicinity. Yeah, like I said, I don't wanna word it to death, but that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, we spoke about last workshop. We spoke about the whole corridor says separate of this, but that's kind of where.
Manager Owens give us an update on the corridor study. That's gonna happen.
Yeah,
It's happening.
it's
Independent of this.
isolated from this instant. It was already in our budget. It's already a plan we have to go forward with. But it is gonna be in process anytime, but again, we really don't take that into account with this, particular.
This could be approved irregardless of a
Right.
corridor study.
Well, that's kind of, just caveat why I support it, taking off the agenda, just to cool it a little bit, to circle back to it. I don't like the idea of just saying no, outright, but
but keep in mind, they do have a approved
Right,
site plan.
I got you. So I guess that makes sense. That's why we have to vote yes or no.
So, any other discussion? From anyone? Okay,
So we would be voting,
motion and second is to deny, so if you vote aye, you're voting to deny the request,
It's my understanding.
okay?
Yes or aye is to deny the request.
Yes. A no is to approve the request. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Motion to deny is approved. Next item is implementing the Jackson law.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, any questions? I think we discussed it in the comments. Any questions? And thank you, Chris, for bringing your point of view. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item is authorizing Loudon Life to apply for special event temporary beer permits for the concert series at
Motion to
Loudon Municipal
approve.
Park.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, I think we discussed that too at the workshop, so, okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, the next is authorizing Loudon Life to apply for a Tennessee ABC special occasion license to serve wine at the concert series at the Loudon Municipal Park.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions?
This is, I mean, I don't think it's a question, but I think with our discussions, they're pretty clear that this is wine only, not liquor. Is that correct?
I think that was the intent.
Okay,
The resolution is written as such.
perfect.
Good point to make.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and we did get a second. Okay, all in favor say aye. All opposed say no. No. All right. Acknowledging the Tennessee TCRS rate effective July 1st.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Next item is authorizing the surplus and purchase of city vehicles.
Motion to approve.
All right, we got a motion.
Second.
Second. Director Lovett presented that pretty well, I think. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is authorizing the contract with East Tennessee Development District to provide for local
Motion to
planning
approve.
services. Have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for your quick turnaround on those. Next item is an ordinance on first reading. Ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of Loudon, amending chapter 4 zoning districts by amending sections 14203, 14408, 409, and 607 regarding record service and record service storage yard in M1 and M2 zoning districts.
motion to approve.
Have a motion and second. Any questions? I think staff has done a very good job of putting this together. Spent a lot of time and effort on this, and I think it's pretty clear. It's a lot clearer than what we had because we didn't have anything. So thank you all for taking the time and getting this. Any discussion, any questions or comments? Okay, roll call please.
Councilmember Ridings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Cardwell.
Aye.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
So we'll have a public hearing.
May I suggest on Tuesday, May
Yeah.
26th
Reason
at
it's Tuesday is
6:25.
Memorial Day weekend, remember, so
Tuesday
Tuesday.
at 6:25. Thank you.
Okay. All right, next is fuel quote comparisons. There's no action to take here, it's just for your information. April 16th, 2026, the only quote for the purchase of fuel was received from Sweetwater Valley Oil Company for the projected amount of $28,000. That was unleaded gas at $3.29 and undyed diesel at $3.77. Who would like to get diesel at $3.77?
You better hang on to it, it's all I need.
Say aye.
Everybody.
Yeah. All right, I do have one appointment to make. Commissioner Tim Henley has asked to resign from, planning commission due to health concerns and health reasons. He's going through some surgeries and things. So he is asked to step down, and I've asked Linda Leffler, who is the chairperson of the Historic, to fulfill his seat, and she'll finish out his term until 2028. So I'm just letting y'all know I'll be putting her on this, in this next month on the planning commission, so you can make that note. So I guess now we're gonna turn it over to either Manager Goins or Melissa or Brandy.
Yes, all of the above.
All the above. When I think of Brandy, I think of that song.
And that tag team, you better look
So
out.
you all have
They're ganging
a,
up on us.
you all have a, message from me. Charter says that we should, before, 60 days before the end of the fiscal year, you should have a budget preview. You would probably have the budget, but because of the reappraisal year, we don't have some of the numbers in from the county to know, to have the full budget done. So we're gonna present a preview, and that's just a kind of a message, a letter, kind of summarizing everything for you. We're gonna tag team this a little bit. I'm gonna ask Brandy to take the first leg here.
So the primary purpose of this preview is just to provide an early outlook at the FY '27 budget for the general fund and the recreation fund operating and capital budgets. And we're gonna provide some insight into some future fiscal planning. Some important things to note, things that have been discussed in the past, we're just highlighting again. There was an increase in the TCRS, it's about 2.47%. And COLA is being presented at 3%, which does include a 3% increase to part-time. These are the dollar amount figures that the budget has gone up due to these increases, and that the CIP is being projected out to 2031. Just a revenue overview for the general fund. In the changes column, you'll notice that the changes are from the FY '26 adopted budget to the FY '27 proposed, and they're broken out into the revenue categories. You can see an overall increase in 5.03% for the general fund revenues. Some of the variances that you may see is that the license and permits is going up by 31.75%. That is just based on anticipated building permits. And the charges for services going up is also from anticipated increase in business tax.
Oh, one more thing.
Can you go back?
We were gonna ask, I knew this was coming, we were gonna ask if you could hold questions till the end. A lot of the, we were doing preview of this, and a lot of the questions that we were gonna ask hit, so we'll just come back, yes, if you don't mind.
Slides. Okay.
We'll come back to any slide you want to, but we think we might answer some of your questions before you even have to ask them.
We hope.
Sorry about that. I'll lift that off for you.
You're fine. So here are some requests that were included by, in the expenditure budget. These were requests by the department heads, broken out into fund. So for the general fund, there was a reclassification from the building inspector codes enforcement to building codes supervisor. There's a salary adjustment for the detective's position, salary adjustment for law enforcement officers, and an E911 funding increase in the operating budget. In the maintenance fund, there's a reclassification from mechanic to shop foreman. And the recreation fund includes reclassification of the part-time admin assistant to a full-time position, as well as increase to swimming pool seasonal hourly rates. Some other personnel requests, this is, I'm gonna hand over to Kevin, because this was requested by the city manager.
So with the previous discussions about the manager position, and the recommendation by both the city council and the utilities board. I really don't know exactly how I'm gonna handle that yet, but so what I was gonna ask to put in the pay classification plan was because I don't know the numbers, I'll have to research a little more closely what this might be, but an up to $40,000 adjustment for likely somebody in the senior staff now to be the city manager, and I put up to because I didn't know exactly what number I needed to go with. And then with, I think you all know this, but this is not asking to add a new position, this is asking to add, responsibilities to internal staff. If I add things to a staff member, they're gonna have to hand things off to somebody too, because everybody is doing about all that we can get done right now. You'll see in this, there's, some positions that we're gonna need in the not too distant future. There's nobody just sitting around that can become the assistant manager and just stop doing all the other things that they're doing. And so that being said, and up to 20,000 that I can adjust a couple of the other department heads if I need to as we're handing off things. And it's an up to number, so it's not a guarantee on any of those. So I know you'll have questions about that. Let's go through the rest of and then we'll get back to it.
So these are some requests from department heads that were not included in the expenditure budget this time around. This is an additional FTE for engineering and planning associate and an additional FTE for codes administration officer. And these figures do include salary and benefits.
Now, these are two that I'm not bringing to you today, but we're going to be looking at our fee structure, our permit, those kind of things. We're talking through those. These are things, we are one of the fastest growing communities in the state, one of the fastest growing communities in the country, statistically speaking. The building is going crazy here. I think you all have seen all the large number of requests and re-requests and reworks and requests and things that come to our engineering and planning department, and they're drowning. Now, I have not approved these as of yet. We are going to try to see how our permits and fees schedule can be adjusted to properly reflect all the work that's going on in our community. And then we'll be talking about, I anticipate these could be mid-year or before the end of next year, but they're not going into the pay classification plan at this point.
Here is an expenditure overview for the general fund. Very similar to the revenue, but it is broken out by department. Again, the changes is from the FY26 adopted budget to the FY27 proposed. Some things to note is that city court, it did go up by 61%. That is just moving and reallocating a budget for the courtware software. It was previously budgeted in police, and now we're moving it to city court. Financial admin has went up by 12.77%. This is primarily due to the property assessor fees for the reappraisal and some audit fees. The engineering and planning decrease of 28, that is because in FY26, the CIP was originally budgeted.
I know you said hold quick, I want to make sure, is this just the operating or does this include personnel?
This is personnel included.
Personnel, so
Yes.
this,
This is-
so PO and M,
Yes,
all included,
yes,
but not capital?
not capital.
Okay.
But speaking of, in the operating fund in FY26, engineering and planning had their capital plans in there. So that explains that 28 decrease, because in FY27, we have moved it into the capital fund. And then police is up by 10%. That is including that 40,000 for E911. That's why their operating has gone up there.
Did it also include that 38,000 they wanted?
That was a reallocation.
It's
They
moving
found other
to
money.
another fund.
Here's the overall budget snapshot for the general fund. As you can see, we are estimating FY26 actuals to end us in a surplus of 1.7 million with an ending fund balance of a little over 12 million. Which then in our FY27 proposed will put us at $321,000 in a surplus and a $12.3 million ending fund balance as it stands.
So this is a part of the discussion we want to have while we're talking about this. We don't have a capital fund balance policy at this point, one that's specifically passed by you all. That's something I do want us to work on in the coming months. But we can tell you that, the Government Finance Office Associates, Officials Associates, and MTAS would recommend that you had 2 months operating expenditures as your fund balance. That's about 16%. Bond rating agencies would recommend that you have about 4.5 months of operating expenditures to get your highest bond ratings. That's about 35% of your operating funds. What internal staff, so when I say that, I'm really talking about me and Brandy and Melissa, and it comes as a real recommendation from them, is that we would like to make sure that we always have 7 months of operating on hand. We want to make sure if some major natural disaster hits, or if we know that we're going to have things that happen, we want to make sure that this city is safe and that we're never in a place where we can where we're going to be in that. So if you look at that in the numbers, that winds up, the GFOA recommended 16%, that's 1.6 million that GFOA and MTAS would recommend that we keep in our fund balance. The bond rating minimum, that's about 3.6 million. And what we would recommend is that we would keep about 6 million, 6.3 million. So what that means, you may do like I do when we first started looking at these and go, why don't we do that? Well, hold with us. So if we did the GFOA recommended, then that would mean that we would have about 10.7 million in our fund balance that we could use for things. Again, we feel like what we probably will talk with you all about is some sort of a fund balance policy as we start in policy after I finish strategic planning, that would recommend a 60% of our revenues, of our expenditures, of our expenditures kept in reserve, which at this point would mean that we have about 6 million in excess of that. Go to the next. Is there something else I'm supposed to say? No, there was a.
Sorry.
Okay. So, one of the things that we're recommending is that we think we should transfer 1.5 million from our fund balance into our capital fund. That will still leave us at just under $11 million in our fund balance. So this would set us up to be able to, over the next couple of years, use some of our fund balance if we need to fund some of our capital projects. So we believe that is a solid strategy. I think you all have got some other points on this. Do you have another point on this slide?
Just that we have looked into the CIP over the next 5 years, and we have some pretty, and you'll see in the next coming slides, but we have some pretty high expenditure years coming up, especially in the next 2 or 3 years. And starting out the capital fund with a fund balance that we could actually utilize without having to dip into using our recurring revenues, it just sets us up where we wouldn't have to necessarily take out as much debt, if not any at all. But we will see that going into the plans now. But this is the overview for the FY 27 capital fund plan. This has been broken out into projects and asset management. So right now you're just looking at the projects for the CIP for FY 27. So that's a $687,000 proposed budget with a net total of 540. I'll give you a second just to read over them, but these are the projects broken out by department as you're used to seeing them.
Yeah, because there's some reimbursement on some of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will provide you all these slides too.
Yeah. And then the second breakdown is through asset management. These are separated just as a way of subcategorizing the difference between an overall CIP project versus what we're calling asset management. They're both summing up into the capital fund, So we're not separating funding sources or anything, it's just a subtotal for each type. And that's $954,000 for FY '27. Which then the totals would be 1.6 million in the capital funds for FY '27.
So this is a place where we have some more, but this is a place where we can talk about capital fund and our revenues. So it is best done that at least portions of our capital budget are funded by recurring revenues. Now, the comptroller's office says that it's a structurally balanced budget if your recurring revenues are covering your recurring expenses, and we're doing that. We're even doing that with a little bit of a surplus. It is not at all wrong that we would want recurring revenues covering a lot of our capital budget on top of our recurring expenses. We are not currently in a place where we can cover all of our recurring expenses and our capital with what we have in recurring revenues. But one of the things that we are glad to be able to say that is that we are in such a good financial position that for a year or two, we can let our fund balance help us cover our capital plans while we are evaluating what our revenues plan is going to look like. We can't only live in budgeting and planning expenses. We also have to talk about how are we going to plan our revenues. We know that there are a few positions that we're going to need. We know that we have major capital projects coming. So we need to spend some time evaluating what are those things that we're going to need, which is what we're working very diligently on, trying to get a 5 or 10 year plan of what is it that we're going to need to do, who is it that we're going to need to help us do that, so that we can then accordingly plan our revenues so that we're not going to our fund balance more than we need to. But we are certainly in a place where it can help us at least this year, if not this year and another year. But it can't go much further, and we're going to explain why right here.
This is the 5-year plan in the capital fund as presented to us. So the first column is FY '28, and I will toggle over to the next slide, which will have the totals, but this is just a snapshot of it from the first couple projects and then the first layers of asset management. You can see it's all the way out to FY '31, but the big thing would be, so FY '28, we are projecting a $2.1 million capital fund expenditure to get all the projects and asset management taken care of. The big one is in FY '29, which is the almost $4.5 million plan.
That includes obviously a $2 million ladder truck.
Yes.
And we can talk about, there's a couple of different ways to cut that. We can talk about, do we want to use our revenue plan and a use of even our fund balance to be pre-loading our capital plan, our capital budget with the money that will absorb that, kind of letting past money pay for future projects. Or we can discuss if we want to debt fund part or all of that and let the people who are using the asset pay for it as it goes. So we're not nailed down to either one of those. We certainly will want you all to speak into what you all would like to see that look like, what kind of plan we'd like to look at going forward. But what you'll see there is that's over the next 5 years, that's $9.8 million in capital projects. 7.8 if we were to debt fund the ladder truck. So that's why I say early on when I was thinking about what our fund balance looked like, it looked like there was money there to do things. We need to conserve as much of that as possible so that we are being fiscally responsible and that we are funding these things from from our fund and our recurring revenues. It will require us to change our revenue strategy moving forward to be able to fund this without having to issue debt or, without issuing more than just that $2 million in debt.
I mean, this is a snapshot of the next 5 years.
That's a snapshot of the next 5 years and totals of what the capital plans that we see, as we've projected out look like. Now, obviously, those will change year to year a little bit. They'll adapt. We may have money left over in one project that we can pick up another one a year early, or we may have to shove one out because of, regulations, or, we just never know for sure, but we're trying to be as accurate as we can be of the things that we see coming. We've asked our staff to provide us with lists of everything they think they're gonna need to do, over the next few years. That way we can try to plan properly so that when we do have to look at our revenues and see what our revenue plan looks like, we can make sure that we're collecting what we need to be a good, healthy, fiscally responsible city, and make sure that we're serving our citizens the best possible.
So same totals here by project and by asset management over the 5 year, kind of just reiterating what you just said. We're looking at $10 million over the next 5 years. So moving on to the recreation fund, same thing, revenue overview as the general fund. You'll see in the recreation fund, both revenues and expenditures, maybe some variances in the changes, some high, some low. Director Loudon performed a pretty thorough review of the budget when he was going through the process, and I think he's just doing a lot of realigning the budget with the proper allocations for spending. So that accounts for a lot of the department level changes, but the overall changes is what we're looking at, and it looks like an 18.59% increase in revenue.
That's what some of the negatives are, just realigning things where they should be. Okay.
You can see it here in the expenditure as well, but some of the things I know I can speak to is in the swimming pool, 13% down. It's just the cost of the capital pool resurfacing down in there is reduced. And the park maintenance going up by 19.80%. A lot of that is the capital plan as well, since they are both combined into the operating and the rec fund. Oh yes, and the Performing Arts Center going up to 71%, the big one, that is for the concert series. We have to provide some services for that as well. And then the budget snapshot for the rec fund is a little bit more conversation worthy. So we're estimated ending FY26 with a little over $3 million in fund balance. But using the FY27 proposed budget, looks like we're going to be eating into that fund balance in FY27 and ending at a $1.8 million fund balance. I don't know if you want to discuss that.
So, we are going to be looking at some things there. We are definitely going to have to visit a lot of our, user fees, what we charge for pavilions, what people using our fields, our pavilions, our different amenities, what we need to do there to make sure that our assets can keep themselves afloat. We have the ability to help ourselves in that area. Outside of that, the only revenues we get are sales tax, a portion of sales tax. So we know that there are some things there. We had to adjust in this department. We adjusted at Director Lyle's looking into checking out some things. We were not able to keep lifeguards. We had some things going. We've adjusted those positions around a little bit to help us maintain those people. We're spending just a little bit more there. But again, like on the other side, we can't cut our way to prosperity. There comes a point where we have to look at a revenue plan and what we have to do to make sure that we stay financially healthy and in a fiscally responsible way.
That is the overview, the preview for the budget. I mean, the next step is on May 11th, we have the workshop to discuss the full budget ordinance and property tax rate. And then we'll have our meeting with first readings, and then in June, our second readings.
Now, any questions you have, we'll go back to where we just hoped on the way down the line, we would answer a few of the questions you had, so maybe we'd keep 30 to 45 minutes of your time for you tonight.
It's not really a question, I have just a comment about and you made reference to as far as the planning department. I know it's not in the budget. I would love to see that be able to work itself into the budget. I think they desperately need another person in there. I mean, Lori's been a great asset there, but I still think that request is valid. That's just my personal opinion. I think the planner, another person in there would definitely benefit that. Because as you said, it's not slowing down. I mean, we see applications all the time, they keep coming in, so I personally would like to see that added if the budget could support it. That's just my 2 cents. Anybody else? John, you got some
Well,
questions?
lots of comments, but I think I'll do them offline with you.
I don't think we need to discuss them here in public.
My biggest thing is I wanna see the breakdown. At what point do we run out of fund balance trying to fund that CIP over the next 5 years? Looks about 3.5 years we're out of money. Is that right?
With,
3.5 years, we're down to
Cause we have
our required
we say we're
maintenance.
gonna spend $6 million is what we have in fund balance for a $10 million over 5 years. So eventually you gotta come up $4 million. With a surplus of only $300,000, there's not enough in there.
Correct. That's why we've got to talk about revenues. We can't only talk about.
I know, but revenues means raising property taxes.
Yes.
And mine is, our surplus, I think we need to relook it again, a 2.5, 2.6, if my public math's right, isn't high enough on a surplus after P&M. Our goal has sort of been 10%. Is sort of our goal to have surplus after P&M before going into capital. If we don't have cash flow, capital dies. Also, there's nothing in there, I've said 5 year, that we're gonna look at to support our downtown development plan either. But there are some capital plans that we talked about there too. That's not in there.
Part of that will be addressed when we review the courthouse square budget at the May workshop.
Yeah, well, that's part of the money, but some will have
It's a
to
small
come from
bit.
capital, because it's not all in the in the square, but you're correct. So that's my concern right off the bat, because again, we're adding a whole bunch of recurring expenses in this. It's not one time. That same way with the police department, with theirs, that 38,000 is a one time. Then all of a sudden it becomes recurring, because they're saving ammo charges, they're saving here to make it a wash for first year. After that, it's no longer a wash. So that's a recurring that's gonna hit also. So that's my biggest concern right now, is that surplus after P&M is not sustainable.
Correct.
And it's gonna, and what you're saying is, we gotta raise taxes to make it sustainable.
Unless there's other things that can be cut, or, you know.
Well, the thing is, we gotta cut it now, but if we add positions, we ain't cutting them. They're there forever.
Yeah.
And so that's my concern, is I wanna be very cautious when adding positions of the timing on it, because I said, once they're on there, because we're not gonna turn around and, I've never noticed to do layoffs and fire people.
Correct.
And that just cuts into what we're trying to do. And in 3.5 years, we're out of money.
If we don't
If we don't raise
address our
taxes.
revenues, correct.
Yeah, well, addressing revenue means raising tax. If we don't raise taxes.
Well, it's not just
Or
that.
it could be
It's the,
expanding.
we're already looking at how we think there's a good chance, one of the reasons I didn't bring the codes, we're gonna rework our building our building fee. So basically, we're gonna take what's happening in the world of building. What we're trying to do, you'll hear us say this a lot on the utility side, is we're trying to figure out a way that growth pays for growth, not taxpayers always paying for all the growth. A small city like us, we can't get enough tax revenue growth to fund the things that it just takes to stay afloat with all the major development that we're seeing going on, both commercially, industrially, at times there, we're having requests, and residentially. So we are trying to make sure that our fee structure for our building permits and those kind of things, because of the activity in that area, that might be able to support the vast majority of the position we need in the codes area, just to be able to stay ahead of all the inspections that we have to do in those things. The same thing could be true in part in the engineering and planning area from all the permits that people are pulled and all the studies that they ask us to do. Now, it's a little different on the utilities in that we can specifically put in development costs into developments and into places where we can recoup those costs. The legislature won't allow us to do that on the city side. And so, I would love to be able to sit here and tell you that we can always, from now on, never increase our revenues, whether it's taxes or fees. But inflation alone would tell you that's not possible. Not to mention the things that are going on in the growth and the things that we're asking our people to make sure they can do every day.
And we don't know what growth's gonna come in the next 3 to 4 years.
And so it's just important, if we do have to look at property taxes over time, which every government has to do from time to time, we've been very responsible with that over the years, and I expect us to still be very responsible in that. What I have told all these people is that we're not bringing frivolous requests, and we're not gonna plan year to year. We're gonna figure out what our 5 to 10 year outlook looks like so that we can set our revenues in a way that's.
And that's the
we
point
manage.
that I'm saying is that I don't wanna say, hey, look, all this looks good, approve it, and then let's figure out in 3 years how to pay for it. We gotta do it now because, yes, because our assessment schedule's on 5 years, I think it's gonna go to 4 year. There's no inflation built into our revenues because of
It
it.
usually
So,
deflates.
well, we have to figure out, in 2 years, we're gonna get slammed on equalization for industrial rates. Thanks, Jack Qualls.
Like we did, yeah,
Thanks to Jack.
like we already have.
That's right. So we're gonna get slammed in 2 years. Last time it was 24% decrease in revenues because of it. So that revenue plan's got to match our expenditure plan, but that 2% excess after P&M is not sustainable. But we gotta address it now and not in 3 years, because I would much rather raise property rates 2 cents a year instead of 10 cents and 5 or 20 cents.
Yes.
So, because a lot of your numbers didn't have inflation factors on them in the CIP. So we're setting ourselves up there. But inflation on the O side and the M side eat us up. Because that's your fuel, that's your cost of buying stuff and all that. So I just want to be careful that we don't run up the P so much that it eats into the others.
And that's the balance we're trying to walk in. I felt like in the meetings that we had, I was either going to see tears or fists from people that, were just so frustrated that they know they need help, and I'm telling them, I know you need help. I don't know that I can give it to you right now, but we've got to figure it out. Like, you are absolutely correct that it is not wise or sustainable to always continue to operate this way. And that's why we're very selective on, places. I think any of them would tell you, I've been very, please don't bring me personnel requests unless you are in dire need of things. We can't frivolously do that.
And I understand, Scott. And the last thing is, I appreciate the fund balance policy. I know we've been working on it for years. I think we need it to give us some guidance. But I think we need to extend that to the other funds of what balance. So what should our balance be? I mean, this is just the general fund. What should it be in capital fund? What should it be in Parks and Recs? What should it be in all those funds?
Absolutely.
To give us a target, because building a fund balance too high is just as bad as overspending. That means we're taxing people and not giving them services.
Correct.
So I like the idea, we just need to extend it to our other funds.
Yes, and that is definitely in our plans. I think you all know we're coming up on strategic plan completion. When we get that done and get it to you all to approve, the next thing I'm moving to is policy, where we can take on some of those things, where we can have some meetings and say, what is it that you all want to see us do in those areas? And those are definitely some that we believe, they hear me say a lot, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. We've got to set some policies and some ways that we can make sure we're accomplishing what we need to accomplish and that we're protecting the city.
The vision and the strategic plan were the links that we were missing to be able to bring you a meaningful fund balance policy.
Well, and also make sure that that strategic plan matches the CIP, because it's just a plan unless till you fund it.
Fund it, yeah.
But also now that we have a master plan that's been approved, or downtown, that we're funding those things, and it just doesn't become a pretty picture that we throw on the
Yes.
shelf and never execute it. Because I know there's gonna be grants and all that, but there'll be requirement to match them and all that, but we can't completely live on grants, but we're gonna have to get a bunch of them for.
What I'm working on, the accomplishment we're trying to make, and I've got a lot of the utility side done. I've started on the city side, so I've got directors working with me on them now after I got the structure in place and all that. But you will see, because we'll pass a strategic plan. Yours was a 3 to 5 year plan. We will align ours underneath it until we think we've accomplished that, and then go back and do yours again. They will have call outs for our individual capital and large maintenance projects in the strategic plan, saying this is what we intend to accomplish this year. That will come before you all for approval. If you all approve it, then that says, go do these things. And the goal the whole time is present a plan that helps us make our budgeting and our capital improvement decisions, so that we're making our decisions based on the plan and not just, we got some money, what can we spend that on? Oh, we don't have any money, what can we cut? No, what is it that we want to accomplish and how are we gonna get there?
I appreciate the question and comments, and I just encourage us all as elected officials, we need to talk about these things in public. Because that discussion needs to be held in public, not in Melissa's office or Brandy's office. I mean, we need to have a collaboration of that. So if you have something like that, let's bring it up in a public forum, because that's where it should be. So, any other comments or questions? Thank you, Brandy, for putting that together.
Yes, thank you.
Let me say, these two have done a tremendous job, and bringing Brandy on board with the background she had, I think we're gonna see very good things come from having good people like this. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Melissa's been able to do some things for the first time, right?
Yes, and we couldn't have done any of it without the department heads.
Yes,
Cooperation.
they've done a great job too.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay, next on the agenda is department reports. So, I think, is Brubaker, you got it back there? Director Brubaker, you have anything? Okay. Director Lau? Watch out, sitting back there next to you, be careful.
She's the new program coordinator, so.
Welcome, Lauren. She's gonna take care of all those fees and everything.
She'll get to help evaluate them for sure.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Director Lovett, you have anything?
No, sir.
City Engineer Hogan?
I'll defer to my esteemed colleague. We've been working on a historic resource survey. Anything about that?
Sure, the historic resource survey of all of the structures in the downtown is starting tomorrow. So, Clifton Resource is actually starting tomorrow morning. They got in town today. So over the next 2 weeks, you'll be seeing some people going around. They'll have a yellow vest on with clipboards. They'll stay on the sidewalks and be walking around doing, evaluations of the various houses, commercial buildings, even accessory structures to, do an inventory of all of our buildings, to find all the unique, features of all of our buildings, to, inventory them, so we will be finding out all of our architectural features, all of our, architectural styles, the history, the, years that they were built. And they'll actually also be reaching out to different individuals throughout the community to be learning the history of the city of Loudon. So, there's some people who will also be helping them reach out to be able to interview them. They will be making a presentation at the Historic Preservation
Advisory.
Advisory.
Yeah,
And historic zoning commission meetings.
Next week, so, you'll be hearing from them and we'll be reaching out to people. You'll see around town, we just today put out the little, signs. There's one right there to let people know that, there's people walking around and they're not assessing anyone for property value.
Yeah.
But, they are out and about, doing surveys of people's property.
I have contacted the majority of the property owners and they're excited about it. I did let them know that they're not property assessors. And, you know,
I didn't even thought about
don't
that.
attack them.
Attack.
Don't attack them, but most were very encouraged by it that I've talked to. I've talked to the majority of the property owners and they're excited about it too. So you will see some of that going around on in town, so we're excited about that. Eddie, have anything from the beer board? Okay, all right. Council member reports, Councilmember Newman?
We had an RAC meeting last Wednesday, but I will direct all questions to Director Lau. I was vacant for that one due to a couple 5-day olds.
Yeah. Director Lau, you have anything to report on that from the RAC?
Yes, sir. We unfortunately did not, receive the ARC grant. Most of the report I sent out. But,
Guess we just didn't score high enough, I guess, huh?
Yeah, the Tennessee River line, they shot for 10 million to take care of several different communities along Tennessee River. And guess that was too much to ask for, but, I thought it would, really had been, they were gonna take care of so many different communities with that, but apparently it didn't pan out for us, so. But right now, we're still, the ARF grant was submitted successfully on April 1st, and we're just gonna wait till the end of July to get, the information on that, whether we're approved for that. Fingers crossed, hopefully it'll.
Will it be awarded in July?
Yeah, towards the end of July, we should get news on it.
I'm sorry, which grant is that one?
That's LPRF.
LPRF, and you said we're approved?
No,
Or still, we just applied, we submitted.
We
And
submitted.
approval we should find out in July?
In July, yes.
Okay, that's on,
Yeah.
I'm tracking, okay. And the ARC is the one that got turned down?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, that was gonna be for.
That was the one that's in conjunction with you said we
We're
were.
gonna work together to meet each other's match requirements, but unfortunately, that didn't come through on that end.
Okay. Okay, Tammy, you have anything from down the line, anything with the lead that you need to tag off of Randy's?
We're in good shape, everybody's booked, all the contracts are fully executed, and sound engineer is hired, and so now we're in sponsorship phase, moving into marketing phase, so there will be a launch party on May 21st, and we'll announce the performers, and we have a special surprise for Loudon and all that everybody's gonna be very excited about.
So May 21st, and is that, where's that gonna be?
Firefly Lane.
All right, anything else, Tammy?
Just came back from the Main Street conference and very exciting. It's gonna mean really good things for Loudon. So we'll have a lot more tools and resources.
When are we expecting that announcement? Do you know yet?
We just had a conference call this morning, and so I think there's one thing we're gonna be
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
And so in the next 30 days, we should officially be able to
Okay.
do the press release.
Okay. Vice Mayor Dixon from Planning Commission?
I do. We met on April 1st, and we had an applicant, 203, with special use review, request to amend off-site traffic signal plans State Route 72 and Commercial Park Drive. That was racetrack, mailing all that coming back. That was here tonight. Then we, after 232 is zoning ordinance amendment update. That was just an update to what was going on. New business was applicant 221, final plat review. Rena Vista, applicant Ryan Lynch. Land survey, property owner, Masana Investments. That was approved by all. There was a 7-0 vote on that. Applicant 243, amendment master plan, Tennessee National. Applicant Tyler Gross, Tennessee National. That was also approved by the board. That was all on the Regional Planning Commission. The zoning, Board of Zoning Appeals, applicant 240, 218 Quiet River Lane, variance request, applicant requesting a deviation from section 14.13.6.8. Accessory building prohibited in the side yard, applicant and property owner James and Jamie Narduli.
Yeah, it was due to the backyard.
That was the backyard was,
the topography of the backyard, they had to put on the side.
they did, and, that was also approved. And that's all I have.
That was a variance, right?
Yes, a variance.
Okay. Councilmember Cardwell?
The Loudon Utility Board met today at 4:30, and the actions for, or items for action, we awarded a bid for an annual control valve rehabilitation project. We awarded the bid for Robertson Springs booster pump station generator project. We authorized, we didn't authorize replacement of vehicles for this year. We put it off to next year. We also approved the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System for the employees, and we established national gas rate at 1.11. Also, the Loudon County Community Fund met last Friday morning. One of the big things that came out of it is they changed their bylaws on how people are appointed to the board. So it used to be that the city council could appoint 2 from Loudon and 2 from Winter City, so many from Loudon County Commission. They changed it to now that no longer is it appointed by the city councils or commission. It's just nominations from anybody in the community, and then the board votes on them. So I would recommend that, in the past we could have had 2, right now we have 1. We need to think of another person down in this area that might help represent Loudon and their interest in that, on that fund. So if you have any names or ideas, and it's twofold. One is they're looking for somebody who can help raise a little bit of money for the fund, because the fund, if it doesn't have money, it can't turn around and give it to the community. So think of, somebody like that. Anyway, that was all it came up. Also, they put out the plan for, how they're gonna raise money, and their big thing is leading up to their big fund drive in December. Also, the Historic Planning Advisory Committee didn't meet this month, but we do want to reach out and say thanks to the planning department for getting the survey kicked off. That was several months' work by that committee to identify the need, to help work through the grant application with Melissa and sort of bringing it all together. Now, sort of the steps, and Lori hit some of it, is after they go through and get all this data, then that data is going to be used to see how we're going to modify our historic district. Now, we've put out a sort of proposed plan, and we're not going to send that for adoption until we get this data back. And we're going to see that, okay, how does that proposed plan work with the data back? They may say, hey, we've identified something extra, or hey, your boundary might be a little bit too big, bring it back based on this. But I can tell you the feedback from the lady doing the survey, she was just excited when she started driving around and seeing how elderly some of our homes were. Because you don't realize, some of the homes...
We've seen them every day.
We see them every day and we think no big deal, but some of them, they're 100, 120 years old, that we never thought of them as being historic. We just thought, oh, that's just a house on Ferry Street or Church Street, and they're old. I mean, the one on the corner right there by Dr. Bud's is 120 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in one 160 years old.
Yeah.
On Country Lane.
Yeah, so, we've got some older homes, and so we just wanna make sure that we got the right data to make sure we have the right, because after it's the zoning comes the historic guidelines. And that's what drives Michael and Lori crazy on the historic zoning is our guidelines really don't address Loudon, they're too general. So after we get this data, then I'll be working another grant to try to get those guidelines updated based on this data. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, I know there's a tourism roundtable, I didn't get to go to it, were you able to go to the tourism?
No, I wasn't able to.
Okay, all right, no report there. Kenny, you have anything, Councilman Riley? No, sir. I wanna thank Attorney Ford for stepping in.
Heck of a job.
Yeah, heck of a job, yeah. It's a big seat to fill right
My
there.
pleasure, good to see y'all again.
He's a family member of council from years back, so.
Jeff, I have one thing.
Okay, yeah, let's get rid of that.
Okay, we, the insurance, property and risk assessment, those came in today. We had 4 applicants or 4, qualifications presented. If any of you all would like to score those, let me know. We'll create packets. And I've got basically a Google form that you can use to score those, and it will automatically tabulate all the results so everybody's not with a calculator trying to figure out what it is. And so if any of you would like to score those, we've got some internal staff that will be scoring them too, but any of you are welcome to.
Okay, Melissa, you have anything?
I do. I would like to mention that Racetrack's attorney provided me with a letter to enter for the record.
Mm-hmm.
They also provided a letter at the workshop. Council is copied on both letters.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to mention it so Megan can enter it into the minutes.
Okay.
And copies will be attached to their applicant record and planning commission files.
Okay. All right, a few closing comments. You had some birthdays, I think.
I do.
Go ahead and get those.
The administration, Bobby Bingham, April 29th. Megan Hull, April 11th.
Happy birthday on April 11th.
Thank you.
Police Department, Eric Curtis, April 9th. Brandon Nix, April 6th. Naomi Rogers, April 14th. Fire Department, David Hanna, April the 25th. Jacob Turveyfield, April 30th. Public Works Department, Brandon Hill, April 28th. And Daniel Lovick, April the 5th.
Happy birthday, Daniel.
Recreation Department, Ricky Castle, April the 6th. The Electric Department, Brody Brown, April 26th. Aubrey Cagle, April the 6th. And Rodney Smalling, April 13th.
Happy birthday to all those. We also have anniversaries from the utilities in the city. You know, whether it's 1 year or 30 years, you know, we value the time and effort that they all put in. They're all very important. Jason Roberts, 1 year with the water treatment plant. Donovan Giles, 3 years wastewater treatment plant. Andy Belcher, 15 years wastewater treatment plant. Lee Ramsey is also 15 years at the wastewater treatment plant. And then Don Watson, 26 years at customer service over at the utility building. Here in the city, couldn't get to Will Jenkins fast enough, he stepped out.
Yeah, he ran off.
I know, but Will Jenkins, thank him for his 2 years with the Loudon Police Department. Jay Bonilla, 2 years, Loudon Police Department, and Ben Everett, 4 years at the Loudon Police Department, so thank those officers there. Macklin Russell, 10 years at the Public Works. Jeremy Freeman, I don't see Jeremy sometimes here, I don't see him here tonight. 18 years, thank you, Jeremy, for your 18 years of service to Public Works. And then we recognized Andy Disney for his 20 years of service, Loudon Fire Department. So, is there anything else that anyone has to bring up?
Don't mind off.
If not, I consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
7:56.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, the workshop is 9 o'clock.
Yeah, he said, no.